All right, so let's start.
Do you have everyone here that you wanted?
No, not yet, but we just start and they come in. We don't wait. Ok, xin chào tất cả các chị em. Sáng ngày hôm nay là sáng thứ hai và mình sẽ Jennifer có mời một người special guest là Jeff Altgilbers, là người mà mời Jennifer và đưa Jennifer vào trong cái kinh doanh này, đưa Jennifer vào trong hợp tác với For Life. Và cái sự có mặt của Jeff hôm nay rất là đặc biệt. Trước hết là anh chị em mời team của mình nha, kêu gọi mọi người vào, bởi vì Jennifer ít có dịp mà mời được Jeff đến với cái Zoom của mình lắm. Ok, cho nên là Jennifer muốn cái buổi hôm nay nó super special. Và một số anh chị em nào mà chưa hiểu tiếng Anh rõ, Jeff nói khá là chậm rãi, cho nên Jennifer nghĩ là anh chị em sẽ theo kịp. Nếu không theo kịp thì mình sẽ xem lại ha. Và nếu có dịp thì Jennifer có thể translate lại cho anh chị sau cái buổi này. Rồi Jennifer sẽ bắt đầu bằng tiếng Anh nha. Rồi, hello Jeff. Here's a team, Vietnamese team with For Life. And the reason we wanted to have invite you to Zoom today, because of what's going on with the world, with the U.S. and the economy is affecting us greatly. And so a lot of us starting to realize that building the residual income is something that very, very important right now. And you have a very inspiring story, and I really want you to share with the team. And on top of that, we appreciate your guidance and leading the Vietnamese team, and hopefully in the future we can invite you on more often.
Oh, that would be nice. What a pleasure to be with you, Jennifer, and with your team. And thank all of you for getting on this morning. Yeah, this is a different time that we're living. Even my parents did not see what we're going through, okay? So they would be shocked if they were alive to know it today, because they're not alive now. But interesting that when this started, this pandemic in the United States, where businesses were closing and people were being sent home, not working, and the unemployment shot up to 30 million. When all that was going on, our business got tremendously better. And how is that possible? Sounds a little crazy, right? And I never thought it would ever, I never thought it would ever reach the volume, the amount of business we were doing. I remember in March that in March, my business went up $9 million for the month. And I told the girl, when I asked her for the numbers at the end of the month, and she told me that, I said, you must be wrong. Why don't you just check and look again? And she said, no, it's very correct, Jeff. Here's the thing. One thing that is interesting about network marketing is that when things get bad, we get better. When everything is just at its worst, we're better. We do well. Why is that? I think the main reason is people are looking for other options to make money. I think that's pretty much the best answer back on that is options. As long as things are great, people don't really look at options. They don't need options. But when their main source of income has been disrupted, then they start thinking, wow, I used to trust this. I used to believe in this. I used to have confidence in this. Now I don't. What do I do? And then they become entrepreneurs. That's usually how it works. And it's really true in any crisis. And that's why they have this saying, don't let a crisis go to waste. And when you think about this, that's exactly what happened with many of our leaders. Matter of fact, in when was it? In April, we had 2 new platinum international diamonds. 2 new platinums. Last month in May, we had 3 new gold international diamonds out of South Korea. And it took a crisis to accelerate this. Now, we are already doing good. But again, when people's main source of income is disrupted, they're going to look for options. And they're going to look at network marketing. Why? Excuse me. I'd say that the main reason is because it's the only business that we know that you can almost go into it for so little, break even so fast, and start making money almost, the first week you join. So now many of you nail salon owners, the cost of what it's like to, set up a business. What does it cost to set up a nail salon? You go through a lot of work. It's a tremendous amount of work that you go through. And then, but you look at our business in For Life, it's so simple. You enroll, you get a welcome pack, you buy some products to use for yourself, you have an ID number, now you're in business. It's just too simple, right? Nothing that simple could be that profitable, right? Or be something that you could count on years from today to make money. Unlike what many have had in businesses that they've depended on and have done well for years, only to have it disrupted in such a big way, all because of a virus. Really, it's crazy, isn't it? So the thing about it is, but when you look at, I'm an example, but there are others in the company, but I'm an example of, I've been making or getting my income from For Life for the last 21 years. 21 years. Out of 21 years, I probably worked 6 or 7. What did I do with the rest of that time? Anything I want. Travel the world, build a big, beautiful house like this, take the kids down to Dollywood and Gatlinburg, just have a life. So let me take you back to when I really got started. I want to talk to you about why network marketing really is far superior than traditional businesses. One thing's for sure, and I've been reading articles about this, that when this finally normalizes, whatever that means, they say it's going to severely change the way we do business in the future. So we're just seeing the beginning of this impact. But how it's going to affect businesses and the way governments are, the way they regulate businesses now, it's crazy. Now, first of all, I was a business owner, and 40 years ago was when I started in network marketing, though back then we called it multi-level marketing because it was before the internet, right? But 40 years ago, when I started and joined, I had no idea about what network marketing is. I was just signed up by somebody. I was in a company that sold aloe vera juice. So they had these little yellow jugs in a box. So I said, well, what do I do with it? He said, you sell it. And when it's empty, you can buy another box. I'll get you another box. And I said, okay. And that was my introduction to multi-level marketing, as we called it back then. Now, there was no concept of team building. The idea of building international, that's impossible because when you think about it, that was pre-cell phones, pre-computers, pre-UPS, FedEx. We had to stock the products in our home to have inventory so we didn't run out. Again, it was pre-everything. So there was no way to track team volume, people who you enrolled and who they enrolled throughout the world. And it wasn't until, later in the 1980s that as technology had evolved, computerization had evolved, we had these great tools now. One was a cell phone. Mine looked like a walkie-talkie. We had a slide projector. We had a VCR where I could pop a tape in, and with the prospect, I could drink coffee and we could view this presentation. Then after that, I could enroll that person. So we had those tools back then, and that was a game changer. We were learning how to build teams, and I had a whiteboard as well. I mean, we had what we needed. Here's the thing I want to share with you is that at the same time, when I was involved in network marketing, I also was a business owner. I was a business owner for about 13 years. And I had a service business, just like you. Many of you, you're in the service business, many of you. I had a service business. It was cleaning. And we did commercial stores. And so I had about 40 employees that were under my care. And I had trucks on the road, a lot of money coming in, a lot of money going out. So network marketing was a side gig for me. It was just a secondary income. It was a hobby. So I didn't depend on my network marketing company to live on. It was just fun money, extra money. But my main motivation was I liked it. I liked getting together with people, training people, teaching people. Just the whole concept of the idea of creating lasting residual income really appealed to me. And so what happened was that that changed. Again, when your main source of income that you've been depending on, you've always had, as long as you're getting that, you feel secure, you're not worried about things, your confidence is there. But when that is disrupted, then you have to think about options. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Those are the thoughts that go on in our head all the time. And I had two major accounts because, again, it was commercial cleaning we were doing. And two major accounts in the same year canceled after over 10 years of working with them. They canceled the contracts. All my business, since I had most of my business in from those two, it just came crashing down. And I didn't have any money coming in. You talk about disruption, that was disruption. It's sort of similar to with a lot of these salons, the way that they were shut down because of the COVID-19. Major disruption. And it's still going to disrupt. Government regulations are going to get tougher. It's going to make it very hard on businesses today. But going back to me. And so I thought to myself when I lost my two major accounts, what am I going to do? I've always had these accounts and I never thought of not having these accounts. And now I had money coming in. Now I don't have any money coming in. What am I going to do? I wasn't really prepared for this. Excuse me. And so I thought to myself, you know what? You have been around network marketing, Jeff, for years. In that case, almost 14. And you've treated it as a hobby. Why don't you treat it as a profession? You have seen people become financially independent. I thought to myself, that's right, I have. And they've made incredible incomes, success stories. Why don't you have the courage to do what they did? Take the leap. Get focused, get serious, and take the leap. So that's what I did. Now, my circumstances were probably nothing. You're not in this boat, okay? It just depends. Yeah, I don't know who's on this call and who's going to see this video later. But I can tell you that at that time, no money coming in, and I exhausted what money I had in reserves. I was broke, and I found a company that I could get started with, of course. David Lisenby, you know, he's the owner of 4Life, right? But so what happened was that I just, you know, thought about the fact I'm broke, I have no money. What am I going to do? And I was sitting on my porch one day thinking about this. And then that's when it hit me, when I asked the question, what am I going to do? And I looked out on the driveway and I saw the only thing that was left from my bankrupt company was a junk truck. The engine didn't start. One of the tires was flat. And I thought, this is it. This is it. I will sell the junk truck to the junkyard. That's my ticket out of here. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to launch my business. And sure enough, I called a man. He came out and said, I'll give you $400 for your truck. I said, take it. He took the truck. I put $200 in the groceries and $200 into my business, getting my network marketing business going. Now, I want you to put this in perspective. $200. $200. Since that time, I've made over 30 million. I lost track actually, but over $30 million. Low entry, break even quickly, you're into profit rapidly, and it's residual. So out of 21 years, I've worked maybe 6 or 7. Enjoyed my life, had my freedom. Does network marketing work? Of course it works. It doesn't work with people who think small. It doesn't work with people who have limited thinking. It doesn't work for people who are always trying to find what's wrong with this. Again, my options were different. I started asking different questions. What's right with this? I've seen other people do well. The fact of the matter is there's many people like me in many different companies too. But why 4Life? That's the question, right? Why 4Life? Why not anyone else? Well, you know, at the time that when those companies, when I lost my 2 major accounts, I was in a water filtration company. You know, we would set up a water treatment, a unit on their sink, let them try good water. The only problem with that, it wasn't residual. We sold it. It would be years before they'd ever need another one. I thought, you know what, I've got to find something that people can consume every day. I don't care if it's toothpaste, but I want consumption. Consumption is where you get rich, where they have to rebuy. Does it work? Well, Amway's been doing it for over 50 years. Look at all these other giants out there. But when you look at 4Life, a company that few people have ever heard of us, know anything about us, and yet we're growing, but we're an unknown company. We have all the advantages of a startup company with none of the risks. That's what I love about 4Life. Why did I join it? I joined it because back then, 21 years ago, I was looking for an alternative to chemotherapy. I didn't have cancer, but I saw what cancer did to people, and I didn't want it, number one. Number two, for those that got it, I wanted to show them a product that can empower their immune system. And I had seen herbs, vitamin, mineral-based type products. They've been out there for decades. Good products, not enough, because the immune system works off feeds off information. So when I saw the future returns of aligning myself with that type of product, again, if you're going to make a lot of money network marketing, you have to find a highly consumable product that people will want to repurchase. So it has to have value. It can't be something you find at Walmart, GNC, wherever. It's got to be exclusive. And when I found For Life with those questions, other people were saying, well, I don't think you're going to find a network marketing company have that. Well, they do. They have right now we have over 42 patents worldwide on our product line. How many network marketing companies have that? So what does that mean? That protects my future residual income. It protects yours. It protects all the leaders associated. In my team, I have over 100 millionaires.
Jeff, right there, I think it's really good information that a lot of people know. Right now, as of right now, how many people in your team worldwide?
Well, the last time I checked, and that was a few years ago, it's 700,000.
700,000.
I mean, I remember when I used to have a lake house, just a few years after I joined For Life, and I ordered a genealogy. So friends, that means a printout of everyone in your downline, every person who's joined. And one day I came back on my Sea-Doo. I was out on the water, parked my Sea-Doo, went up to the house, and I saw this big old box. I thought, what is that? I didn't order any product. And I opened it up. It was my genealogy. I thought, wow, I killed a tree. You know, I said, I will never order one again. Of course, that was probably 16 years ago. So over 700,000 the last time I checked, and that's in 58 countries.
Wow. And right now you said in your organization has more than 100 people make more than $1 million.
Oh, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, since you brought that up, I did a screenshot before we got on the call. For example, For Life is also very honest. They are very transparent about what their leaders make. And they have what we call an income disclosure on their website. Now, not too many companies put income disclosures because they don't want to tell you the truth. Because if they told you the truth, you'd probably not join them. Because their compensation plans are not as good as For Life's. Again, this answers the question, why For Life? For example, if you want to earn $60,000 a year, we're talking about residual income. Residual income. There's a difference between a person earning $60,000 a year because they got to trade time for money. That's called linear income. You have to go somewhere, spend your time there, deal with whatever you got to deal with when you're there, okay? But hands off, once you get this thing built, hands off residual income with For Life research, for international diamonds, 60,000. I'm just looking at the high numbers, 60,000. Gold international diamonds. Oh, I apologize. It's not, oh, it's 110,000, excuse me, annual commissions. There we go. I had the wrong numbers. I apologize. International diamonds, you're a six-figure income earner. $110,000. Now, gold international diamonds, $500,000. Now, I've got a gold international diamond in Washington State that makes over $100,000 a month. It just really depends on how much volume you have, in your tree, how much volume is in your tree. That is your organization. And then platinum international diamonds, $2,511,000 annual commissions. $2.5 million. Platinum international diamonds. Now we're talking about, again, there's other things you can do to earn $2 million, but at what price? And are you really enjoying your life? See, we're talking about residual income. And think about it. And someone might say, well, is it truly residual? Yes. I've been involved 21 years. I promise you, you know, outside of the 6 or 7 years I did work. And when I did work, it was still part-time. It's residual. Yes. In the beginning, I made a bust of activity, I guess, a quick run. And then once I got the speed established for the team, then that was it. It's like the space shuttle. Once it escapes the atmosphere, it needs very little fuel to run. It just keeps going.
Jeff, well, you have mentioned that when you started, it took you a little bit to get it going. How long was that little bit?
Okay, 21 years ago, that little bit took me 90 days.
Okay.
90 days. 90 days of focus.
What did you do in 90 days of focus?
So I did not own a computer. I mean, computers were around, of course. And I only bought a computer just to shut my sponsor up, because he said, look at you, you want to be a top earner, but you don't own a computer. So I bought a computer. But so 21 years ago, the only thing I had on my desk was a telephone and a list of names. And I started calling people. That's exactly what I did.
How many people did you call a day?
Wow. Of course, it varied. And I had an expression. I went from 8 to faint. 8 in the morning till I faint. So I'm so exhausted in the evening. And then I do it again the next day. And so I hit it hard like that because I understood that if I wanted to make big, huge money, you have to put some time in, you have to focus on it. And that's what I did. So, and what happened was that when I made that 90-day run, it varied how many I called every day, because sometimes I was following up with people. I wasn't just talking to new prospects. And so I made a lot of calls every day. I don't remember exactly how many. It could be 30, it could be 40, who knows? I don't know. But I hit it hard. But once I got some people in that joined me, what would be my leaders, then I worked with them, helping them with their people, with their prospects.
What do you consider as leaders? Like people joining every day, but who would you identify as leader and take it from there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So leaders are people that talk different. Their words are different. What they're telling you is different than the common person out there. So they're going to talk about, yeah, I am so ready for something like this. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I know some good people. I'm willing to commit. I'm willing to give my time. I'm willing. I promise you, I won't be negative. I won't complain. I understand that this isn't easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So I want to do this with you. That's the way they talk. Now, the other kind of people, they're going to say, well, I don't know. Maybe I got to talk to my husband. Is it hard? That's weak. So those kind of people, I don't give my time to. I'll just, enroll them, say, I love you, enjoy the product. And then I'm going to go work with someone else.
Jeff, so what is the percentage of the rate of the people when you sponsor them that the one that identify themselves as leaders? Be honest with us.
Oh, that's going to be a small percentage. I mean, there's a reason why in the United States, I don't know, what's the statistic that 5% control most of the wealth? Think about it. Is that my fault? Is that your fault? No, that's just the way it is. Why? Because these people made an exceptional sacrifice. They were willing to give it all. And they weren't looking for an excuse. they had to make it work. So like go back to my case, I lost my business. Before, I didn't consider network marketing as my main income. Now, when I lost my business, I had this thing called, or a question, what are my options? What are my options? Questions I never asked before. I don't think in terms of options because I always trusted my business. Now my business is going up in flames. What do I do? Questions, options, and then, okay, network marketing. And so that's the thing. Now, the truth was I was always a leader, but I never allowed myself to discover that, because I sold myself out for a business. I sold myself out for something small, something small. At the end of the day, when I looked at all the money going out in the business, in employees, all that, yes, I made a living. Yes, it was a relatively good life, but it was an uninspiring life. Uninspiring. It was, and so I went later when I looked at it, I said, you know what? Losing that business was the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank God for it. I'm so glad I lost that business. I would never have what I have now. I would have never had the life that I have now. I would have never went to the countries, traveled, lived in different countries, met incredible people. I have incredible relationships with these people. I wouldn't have any of that had I stayed where I was and tried to make it work. I said, you know what? I don't want a traditional business anymore. I don't want employees anymore. I don't want that. And I sure don't want to work for somebody. So then when I thought about, well, then what is your options? Network marketing is a very good option. First of all, I don't have to come up with a lot of money to get started. All I need is an ID number. That's it. And then I can rock and roll.
And Jeff, so back then, what your method of sponsoring was 100 LP, everybody, just about that? Yeah. Or did you have any special? And on top of that questions, I have another one that a lot of people think that Jeff is exceptional. It's a rare case. That's why he got the success that he does. But maybe it's not for me. Maybe I have to speak well. Maybe I have to have a certain skills that, exceptional before I can make it. So have you seen those in your organization, and have they made it in your team?
Yeah, great questions. So we have to keep in mind, when it started 21 years ago, we only had one product, transfer factor. That's all we had. And if you had asked me 21 years ago, do you need another product, a second or a third? I'd say no, because I was so sold on transfer factor classic. And until today, even today, that's my number one product. I take it every day. But how we started, yes, was 100 LP. That was it. And we had a simple language back then that we always taught people, sponsor two, who's sponsor two, your products are free. Sponsor three, who's sponsor three, your products are free, and you've made a few $100s. Sponsor six, who's sponsor six, if you go no further than that, we're talking about 2 levels, you have $1,000 of residual income established. Of course, now we're fast forward, times are different, costs can vary, but we could say that the same is true with the loyalty program. But that was how we started most people, was just with 100 LP order back then. And so in 90 days, without me bringing in a downline, in 90 days, we had 800 people in our team. I had a new team in 90 days. Now, how do you do that? You stay focused. Yes, I had other people calling me about other network marketing opportunities, and I would not listen to them. I would just shut them down, say, hey, listen, I love you, man, but I'm focused. You can't become successful if you're not focused, and I'm focused. So I wish you well, but I got to go back to work. Nice hearing from you. And when I get another call like that, I tell them the same thing. I always maintain my focus. And that's most important. But let's go back to that. You want to ask another question, or you want me to finish your last question?
Oh, it says finish the last question first. Thank you.
Oh, you want me to, all right. Am I an exceptional person? Come on, guys. My education level is, I went as far as high school. And I think I only graduated because they wanted to get rid of me. Okay, I was a long-haired hippie rock drummer. So, and I smoked dope, did drugs. And that's what I did. I was a big believer in music and bands, and I played in nightclubs, and that was my life. That was the only thing I wanted to do with my life. If my father was alive today and saw what I had and what I did, he would be in utter shock. He would be shocked, because my father was a responsible businessman, ran a company, served in the Navy, did great things in his lifetime, and he really tried to be a great father, which he was. But he went to a university, had a university education, graduated. So did my sister. So did my two brothers. I did not. So I was the least of the family to ever make it in anything. Number two, even my high school, my senior class friends are shocked at my success. They were shocked that I would ever get off drugs. And I mean, they were very shocked, because I my senior year, I think about almost every day in school, I was stoned. And so, I mean, that was the life I lived, to give you an idea of who I was before. Okay. So if you think I'm special, forget it. I'm not. Music was my life. And so the thing was then, yes, later I changed. I did change. I found a reason to change. And because I thought, you know what, you're not going to live too long if you maintain this lifestyle. Okay. So I did change. And then I thought, wow. And my father used to joke and say that I'm unemployable. That was a word he used. He said, Jeff, you're unemployable. What does that mean? That I don't do well with a job. I don't do well being told what to do. So then I worked at his factory for a year. I worked in the factory. Different life. And I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. So finally, then I thought, okay, I don't like. As a matter of fact, I did try college for 6 months. And I didn't like college at all. I can remember I went into, what was it, calculus, into class. It was calculus. And I saw the teacher come in with a bow tie, very eccentric looking. And I thought, oh God, this is going to be horrible. And he started drawing formulas on the board and all that. I said, I will never come here again. And I left that class, and I never went back to that class. Finally, I wanted to be, I thought, a journalist. And then my English teacher took me into his office one day after class, and he said, Jeff, I noticed some things about you, that you have leadership qualities, but do you really know what you want to be? Do you really know what you want to do? And I said, no, not really. I just know I don't like college. So after that, I finally thought, okay, I got to make money doing something. So I start knocking on doors and say, hey, would you like your windows cleaned? I'll clean all your windows for $100. Oh yeah, you'll do it for 100? Clean them. Made $100 a day. I thought, well, that's all right. It's better than a job. I don't have a boss. My dad said I'm unemployable. And so what I want you to understand here is that I had desire. That's all. Desire. I did not have education. I had desire. I can't create desire in a person. If a person doesn't want to excel in their life, if they don't want more, if they don't want to be better, if they don't want to have an inspiring life, I can't help them, and I can't create it. So when we go back to the question, when Jennifer's asking how many people are really leaders, yes, it's always a small percentage, but it's true in any field. In any field, it doesn't matter what it is. How many people excel in the stock market? A very small percentage. How many people excel in real estate? Well, how are they doing now? It's horrible right now. Nobody's selling, nobody's buying. Okay, but in real estate, it's a very small percentage. Matter of fact, most real estate agents in the United States, the majority that went through all that education and expense, cost, trouble, the majority of them never sold one house. Okay, so here, just understand, in network marketing, you don't have to have a special education. You don't have to have a lot of money. You simply have to have desire. And then you have to be careful about who you associate with, who you spend your time with. Your income will be in relation to the 5 top people that influence you. Now, I'm not talking about your spouse, though that can be an influence, but I'm talking about who you choose to get information from or advice from, okay? So Tony Robbins has been a big influencer. Back when I was broke, had nothing, and the likelihood of a guy like me succeeding would be impossible. And yet I listened to Tony Robbins, his tapes, Unlimited Power, cassette tapes, every day. And I would pump that in my head to get that crap out of my head, that negative thinking. And so I started believing what I was learning. That's important. And once I believed it, then I saw life differently. So, and interesting, Tony, real quick story on that. Tony one time, then Tony is worth, I forget how many billions. I don't know, maybe 20 billion. I don't know, it's crazy. I remember he had a passion to learn how to fly a helicopter. So after he became successful, he was flying over, I forget which city it was, but he was flying over this building, and all of a sudden he felt the urge, just stop the helicopter in the sky. He did. When he looked down at the very building he used to mop floors, that he used to clean. That was Tony Robbins. Here's a guy that transformed his life. Anyway, I had a chance last December to meet Tony and tell him my story. We hugged. He was proud of me, and he looked at me, he says, look at you, you did it. But here's what I want you to understand. It was heart. It was desire. It was not ability. It was not education. So you got to look in your heart, and you got to ask yourself, are you worthy of that kind of life? Do you want that kind of life? Do you want a better life? Do you want to have a life where you're not dependent on employees, or a location and an address where you have a business, where you're actually, every month and even every week we get paid when we sponsor Rapid Rewards, but every month you're getting your, just like I got an email from For Life, I noticed last night. It said a deposit has been made to your bank account. Well, thank God it's being made to many. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of my leaders in my organization in the 58 countries where I have people. A deposit has been made. Wow. I didn't even have to exchange money between somebody. I didn't see the product going out. I didn't see the product consumed. I didn't see anything. And if I'd never been to Utah, I would never seen the company. How do I know it exists? But for 21 years, they've been sending me that notification. A deposit has been made to your account. To tens of thousands of my leaders, they get the same notifications. A deposit has been made to your account. This is called residual income. Residual income. I've got 3 CDs on iTunes. It's funny. I get these checks in the mail because I go through a music distribution company. These are songs I wrote. And guess what? And so in the check, it says, this is your residual earnings from people who have purchased your music. And I got pages and pages, and I'm looking at all this stuff like iTunes, YouTube, Rhapsody, Spotify, Pandora. I'm like, this is crazy. Because again, music's my passion too. So if you wonder what I do with some of my time, I like to go into a studio and record. But you see the life that you can have. But again, first of all, you have to believe that you can have it. That's the most important thing. You have to believe you can have it. And I wanted it bad. And man, I'll tell you what, I wanted to run to it as fast as I could. And I didn't have time to talk to negative people. And I didn't have time to talk to people when they talked to me about another opportunity. Wasn't interested. I knew what I had. And when I look at transfer factor, oh my gosh. I mean, I got in it 21 years ago as an alternative to how we could deal with cancer. But I never ever believed or foresaw the day of a global pandemic. And if you heard some of the stories that people have had, on our product, it would blow you away. But obviously, people are looking also for health alternatives because of transfer factor. Because the media has done a very good job of telling people two things. One is that your immune system is weak. You need to strengthen it. You'll probably get this virus and you could die. They tell them that. Number two, you need to find a way to work from home. In fact, a lot of companies now are going to have their employees be working from home. Companies are going to downsize. We're going to see major disruptions. AI technology, again, is going to be another major disruptor because robots don't get sick. And it's going to replace humans.
Awesome, Jeff. It's just really, really inspiring story. I can sit here all day and listen to your stories, which just give us a lot of energy to overcome and I wouldn't say that's the destination, but the amount of success that you have achieved is really inspiring us to try harder, to work harder, actually. But okay, so these are the new distributors seeing a little bit of potential in network marketing, not too much, just a little bit, not too much for them to really focus on. But through your story, I think it's changed a lot of people's perceptions about network marketing and the potential of it. So if you would leave one advice for those new distributors who just join in, not so sure is whether it's network marketing or back to nail salon, whether it's for life or other choices. If you can pack it all in one sentence of your advice, what would it be? Are you still there?
I'm there, but that's a hard thing to say in one sentence. Again, live an inspiring life. I mean, my life changed. Everything's changed. I mean, I even got my family through being in a country, doing network marketing. Everything. 4Life changed everything for me. 4Life changed everything for my leaders. The majority of the platinums and golds are in my downline. But here's the thing. Just understand this. Look how many years that you've been doing nail salon. And I'm not beating up on nail salon. And Jennifer knows that. If that's your passion and you want to try to go back to a business that the government is going to regulate more, they're going to only allow so many people in your shop. I don't know. That's like saying, if your business did $50,000 a month, now you're going to have to live with 20. I don't know. I don't know how shrinking a business makes it more attractive. Not to me. But again, that's you. It's whatever you want to do. You'll never be free. But think about this. Evaluate your own life. How many years have you been doing nail salon? Maybe as an employee, maybe as an owner. How much of that money did you save? How much do you have in savings after all is said and done? How much debt do you have? Do you like that picture? How does it feel? Is it ever going to change? Especially now, with the way things are? Are people even going to be comfortable to even go in a nail salon? A lot of people aren't. A lot of people aren't. Why? Because they're afraid. They're afraid. It's not because you don't do good work. You do good work. But just understand the reality is the reality. We are in a, what do they call this? The new normal? But for business owners, it's a nightmare. So the thing is, why for life? Why you? Why now? Why for life? We don't have any of these restrictions. This is all about an incredible immune system company that has market appeal. Market appeal. They will drop ship to just about anyone, anywhere in this world. Almost. Some countries we're not in. But when you look at the opportunity you have here in the United States to be able to build a network, and keep in mind, I sponsored 72 my first 2 years. After that, I didn't sponsor any. Out of the 72, 3 took it seriously. Out of those 3, for example, in April, my volume was over $30 million. $30 million. Now, this is a guy that was just about kicked out of high school, right? That's as far as I went, was high school. And later I had a cleaning service. I mopped floors at night. And my business is doing 30 million. How many employees and shops would you have to create that kind of volume? You probably wouldn't even want it, because it'd be a nightmare trying to manage it all. So the thing about it is, why for life? Because we have none of those headaches. None of those headaches. My business started 21 years ago. And why am I still getting paid today? Why are we still growing today? Because our product has market appeal. People believe in it. We've branded ourselves very well as the immune system company. And of course, we have great products that Jennifer helped introduce, our salon products. So we're a great company. So that's why for life. Why you look at your circumstances and ask yourself, the money you saved, what you have in debt, what kind of future do you have? Would you like to change that? And then why now? Why now? The circumstances with this world and the pandemic, you have a great window of time to be able to build a great business, because people are looking for alternative choices to take care of their health. And that's the reason why Transfer Factory is so well branded. We're positioned very right to the future. So just ask yourself then, what kind of life do you want to live? You want to live an inspiring life, a debt-free life? I don't have any debts. Matter of fact, I just bought another house. I do investments with my network marketing money. Many of my leaders do investments. I've got a leader in Florida. You know what he used to do? He used to watch cars at a car lot to make sure that he was a security guard, to make sure nobody broke in the cars. That's what he did before For Life. He's a multi-millionaire. He has a house on the ocean in Florida. Juan Rosado. As a matter of fact, if you look at most of the platinums, my sponsor, he was actually homeless when he started For Life. Homeless. Bonnie Taylor, who's a platinum in For Life, was just living in a house. She was just a house watcher. Somebody says, hey, I got to go away for a year. You just stay in my house and just make sure, nobody breaks in, whatever. That's because she was homeless. She didn't have a house. She's a platinum international diamond. I mean, most of the people that came into R.I.S.E became success stories for people that did not have education, they were not exceptional people at all. These were people that just looked at their options, and their options weren't great. And they said, you know what? Network marketing sure looks good. I think I'm going to do that.
Awesome. Awesome, Jeff. So, man, we have so much to learn from you. Just one session isn't enough to pack all of your years of wisdom in network marketing. And
I come anytime for you, Jennifer. You know I'll do anything for you and for your team. I love Vietnamese people.
We would love to have you on more often. And I think that it's not so much about the skills that they have. It's a lot more in the desire and the motivation within them.
Art.
And your story had definitely fired it up for us. All right, thank you so much, and everybody. Thank you to Jeff. And we recorded this session, and I'm gonna try to translate it into Vietnamese. That's a lot of wisdom to translate too. Thank you so much.
Thank all of you for getting on this Zoom call. It was a pleasure.
Have a good day, Jeff. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.